students, today we are going to discuss on the topic classification and evolution. Yes students, this is the third chapter and second lecture of the lesson diversity in living organism. Students, in previous lecture all of you study about biodiversity and classification, taxonomy, as well as the importance of the biological classification. Now students, here the today's topic is classification and evolution. Yes students, this topic helps in assess about how the evolution affects the system of classification. Yes students, the classification and evolution are interrelated, or you can say that interdependent terms in the biological classification. Now students, evolution. What is evolution? In a common sense, the changes in the characteristics or behavior in a species that inherited generation after generation, and it become the part of the particular species. This is called the evolution. Students, evolution is immense important for the developmental processes in the species. Yes students, evolution is immense important for any kind of development or the formation of new or modified organs in a particular species. If this process does not take place, then there is the concept of evolution, or you can say that the changes in the characteristics or morphological changes in the species or the body design cannot be possible. Students, evolution is the sequential, or you can say that the orderly development stages of the each and every species. If we are talking about the evolution of human beings, then all of you witness about the evolution of the human beings take place from the shrews. Yes students, shrews are just the large size rats, also called the chachundar in Hindi. But students, from the shrews there is evolution of lemurs, and from lemurs there is evolution of tarsier. From tarsier the old world monkeys get evolved, that contain the monkeys and apes, and from the old world monkeys there is the evolution of the new world monkeys. It means gorilla, orangutan, chimpanzee, gibbon, etc. And from the new world monkey there is the origin of first Australopithecus man, after Australopithecus the Cro-Magnon, after Cro-Magnon Neanderthal, after Neanderthal the Ramapithecus, and after Ramapithecus there is evolution of Homo habilis. After that the present man, Homo sapiens, get evolved. Thus this is a sequential study about the origin and evolution of human beings. Now students, today we are going to discuss about the scientific name of binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. or you can also call it scientific name. Scientific name. Students, if we are going to discuss about the binomial nomenclature, then the binomial nomenclature was first described by the father of taxonomy as well as father of classification, Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus in 1753 first gave the commencement of the binomial nomenclature. According to him, each and every organism name should be given on the basis of their genus, that is also called generic name, and species. This is also called specific name. Specific name. Now students, here I am going to take some examples, and here I write the vernacular, or you can say common name of species. First I take the vernacular or common name of man, it means human. Then what is the genus of the human or generic name? The generic name of the human is Homo, and its species name is Sapiens. Thus students, Homo sapiens is the zoological, or you can say the biological name of human. Now taking another example as the lion. Its biological name, or you can say that zoological name, is Panthera leo. Panthera is its genus name, and Leo is its species name. Likewise, there is more example. Frog, its genus name is Rana, and the species name is Tigrina. Then the Rana tigrina is the zoological name of the frog. Likewise, the roefish, Labio is its genus name, and Rohita is its species name. Students, there is a rule to write the scientific name or binomial name of each and every organism. What is the rule? The rule is that the first name, it means the genus name. The genus name's first letter should be in capital and rest letters in small. As well as the species names, each and every letters that comes should be written in small letter. And the both of the names should be utilized. And when handwritten, they must be underlined. Like this. Now here I am taking some more example of the members of plant kingdom. This is the example of the animal kingdom. First of all, I take the example of pea. its botanical name is Pisum sativum. Pisum is its generic name and sativum is its species name. Another, the mustard, brassica is its the generic name, and campestris is its species name. Likewise, here I also take an example of onion. Allium is its generic name, and cepa is its species name. One more example from the kingdom Plantae. Here I am going to take the example of wheat. Triticum avestium. Triticum avestium is the botanical name of the wheat. Likewise, for rice, Oryza sativa, for sunflower, Helianthus anus, and for garlic, the Allium sativa. Thus, students, these are the binomial or scientific name of the plant and animal species, and the methods of writing this scientific name is that the first letter of the generic name should be in capital, rest letters in small, whereas the species name should be always written in small letter and italics as illustrated here. Now students, I am going to discuss on another topic, the hierarchy of classification, or you can also say the taxonomic hierarchy. Taxonomic hierarchy or the classification hierarchy. What is the taxonomic hierarchy? Students, as you all of you know about in the topic classification and evolution, it is a sequential development of species on the basis of the modification and changes as well as similarities among the species. Likewise, this is an arrangement of each and every species in a manner that on the basis of evolution as well as the kinds of similarities that are helps in showing the interrelationship among the group. Then what are the taxonomic hierarchy and what are the stages of such hierarchy? The first of all, the kingdom. The term kingdom is used in the animal, whereas it is used as division in plants. But here you only illustrate as kingdom. Now the second step is phylum or division. Yes students, phylum or division. Phylum is used for the classification of kingdom Animalia, whereas division is used for the classification of plant kingdom or plant. Now, class, order, family, genus, and species. Students, species is the basic unit of classification or taxonomic hierarchy. If we are going to define the taxonomic hierarchy of human, yes students, here I take the example of taxonomic hierarchy of human. Then how the taxonomic hierarchy of human should be given, because human belongs to kingdom Animalia, that's why here I delete the term division. Kingdom, what is the kingdom of human? Human belongs to kingdom Animalia. What is the phylum from which human belongs? Chordata. What is the class of the human through which they belongs? Mammalia. What is the order of the human? Primata. Family, Hominidae. And the genus is Homo, whereas the species is Sapiens. Thus, the modern name of the human, or you can say that the zoological or biological name of human is Homo sapiens. Students, and what is the name of biological, or you can say that zoological name of future man? Then the biological or zoological name of future man should be human Homo sapiens futuria. Yes students, Homo sapiens futuria will the name of future man, because there is less presence of hairs on their body surfaces as well as on scalp. There is no use of the fourth finger. Then it was hypothesized that the fourth finger will get disappear in the future human. Thus students, this is an example of the taxonomic hierarchy of human. Likewise, each and every organism should be classified on this basis. This is called the taxonomic hierarchy or classification hierarchy. Thanks students for joining today's lecture.